Hi, I'm Words here, and I'm making a game. And here's where we left off last time. Boop. Oh yeah. Wall. Wall. And I want to fix some of those controls. Right now, you can kind of walk off the side of that wall and be halfway through it, which is not right. So I want to fix that first. Not a big deal. Problem is, I have to figure out exactly how I want to go about this. Well, I suppose I have to change the node checking. Make it so that it actually considers the end of the node to be based on, let's see, x minus. So this way it'll be, it will be, your entire sprite will have to go past the node to actually change, so that it doesn't, that way you won't actually be able to walk, be able to end up through the wall like that. Might have to change it, might have to change it again later, so that it works a little differently, because this isn't actually going to be very pretty. Plus, there we go. I forgot to turn on my timer too. Somebody watch the time for me. Oh well. Okay, so now it goes like this, which looks a little funky if you think about it, because he's now floating, but ooh, he still can't actually fall through it because of how that works. In fact, it actually makes that worse. Actually, now I'm kind of thinking I should do it the other way I've been thinking. Because that doesn't actually look very good at all, does it? Now I want to make it so it pushes him off if he falls into it. Which is a lot more complicated of a fix. So we're not going to actually worry about that just yet. But what it's going to be is, and I might pop open a paint or something to illustrate. Let's see. Because the problem is, here's our wall. Pretend that's a straight line. Obviously he's able to fall through halfway because on your character I've set his center to be his origin, and it's when that point passes the node that he actually is able to fall off the wall. That means he gets clipped in half here. Boop, like that. And by the wall, and he can fall through it. So what I'm thinking is that I could make it so that if I push you too fast, I could make it so that as long as you are through the wall, it'll actually push you kind of slowly away from it. That might be the best way to do it. Actually, I might be able to implement that pretty quickly. Just need to make it so that it does a check to see if you're inside of a wall. And if so, it just needs to go ahead and push you out. I think I can do that in a step. And it's an always on sort of thing. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that I need to do a check to see if your left and right, check if your left or right, either one, is next to a wall and is beyond that wall. So it's pretty simple. If x, well no, actually what I have to do is I have to check your node. So I just say if level node type level node, so that's the node you're on. So I need to say we're going to go to the left first, so -2 is a type 1, which is a wall, and then game.level node x, and you are to the left of the previous node. But the other thing I have to make sure of is y has to be. Well, this actually depends on whether or not it's like that or like this. When you're to the left of it and you're beneath it, we have to make sure. All right. We'll do that check first, because that's saying, okay, this is what we know is that x minus sprite width over 2. So again, so we know that this bit, this half of you, is to the left of the wall. And what we have to do now is we have to, within that, check to see if you're within the space of the wall, like the y, the vertical space. So we just say if we have to check your y. Well, first we have to check which one is taller. So if node y and that will check whether or not it's this one. If this is true, then the previous one is. Well, we'll switch around really quick. Yeah, so that'll say that this is this situation. So what we're actually checking for is. Oh, actually, that's the only situation in which this actually matters, because you can't move left into that one. Yeah. Okay. So really, I don't need to put that into a separate if at all. Although I guess it's really no difference, other than, you know, well, I can actually see what I'm doing, but here, I'll put it into another hand, because it only makes more sense that way, really. So we'll just take you, boop, boop, boop. So now, okay, so now we know that the situation is, it's like this, and your half is within there. So and actually, no need to make that another if again, still. And we have to check if well, y plus sprite height over 2. So if your bottom half isn't sticking through, so basically the situation is you're sticking like this. Like that's what that says. If you're anything like that, or you know, like this or whatever, you know, sticking through the wall, that's the situation we have right now. Is greater than the there. So then we can say what we gotta do is we gotta get it to where you move out of that space. So we'll actually just go ahead and, regardless of your actual current like movement speed, we're going to worry about which, regardless of whether you're moving, essentially at this point, we're going to actually go ahead and add. And we know that it's on this side, so we can say x plus equals, and then we'll just we'll actually make a variable in here, so we can say so we can adjust it to however quickly we want the character to move through the wall. We'll call it clip escape, because it's you're escaping from clipping through the wall or something. I don't know. Set it to 1 for now. You should always make variables for stuff like that, so you don't have to especially if you're going to use it more than once, so you can go back and fix it in one place instead of having to go find it everywhere else. Alright, so it should now work for the right, which is the only place we actually have a wall. And as long as that works, it should work the other way for the other code. And nope, we get a problem. Negative array index. Right. No, that shouldn't actually happen. Not there. Because why didn't this one come up negative? It's -2. Why didn't -1 come up negative when -2 didn't? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, I see why. Possibly. Wait, no, I don't. Ugh, that doesn't make any sense. Well, I can debug. That's what that's for. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, that worked, so it was -1. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Why is that, why would that be not okay? Is it can't because, I mean, level -2 gets an error, which it shouldn't. Because -2 should be the top of this wall. In fact, something else actually checks that. It should, at least. When you do... There's a check when you're trying to press left and right to see whether or not you're... But it doesn't actually... Let me test a couple of other things then, because that should be working. Let's say level, that's what that is. Just 1, it's this guy. Oh, right, I forgot about that. Gah, what am I thinking? Okay, yeah, that was dumb. That was a huge waste of time, as always. Change everything over, because this is just -1, this should be -nothing. This should be -1, this should be -nothing. And I can't see that whole thing. -1, there we go. Okay, because I was assuming something that wasn't true. Oh well, let's see, now it works. Oh, you do, you can push it out too slowly though, for now. But it does work. You even move up the thing, because I'd forgotten to actually do the check for that. Oh, I guess because of how it works, it actually should always work. Yep, see, it pushes you out now. I'll make it go faster, because that's too slow, it looks kind of silly. But I didn't want it to be too fast, because if it's too fast, you'll kind of, pop out, and it's something that would be happening all the time, and it would be just too obvious. I want it to be kind of something you don't really think about, for the aesthetic of it. Yeah, that's a lot better. Maybe even a little faster than that. Because when you're falling into it like that, you don't even notice that you slip out for the most part. But if you fall in a little too close, you do kind of slide out instead. So we're going to increase it a little more, and then I'm not going to worry about it whether or not it's going to work after that, because I want to work on something else. I'm going to work on something else. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change it so that we have velocity-based, we have momentum-based speed-based movement. Right now it just sort of moves you left and right, and I don't like that, of course. It looks rather ridiculous. That was just for testing purposes. And we've come too far to have it look that wonky and play that floaty, so we're gonna add a we're gonna make it so that your actual first off, what we ought to do is, so speed, we're gonna say 0. That's gonna be your horizontal speed, because we're calling it just speed because bleh, that's why. Because that's why. Alright, and then what we need is we need to be able to actually have horizontal thrust. We need to have well, what could we call it? Sort of oh, I'm a little tired, I guess. I'm very slow. Let's see, speed, add, speed. I'll call it speed add, that's good enough. This is how quickly you can add to your momentum. And this is going to be, I can also have a speed stop. And that's how quickly you can move in the opposite direction. Because I want that to be different so that you can stop more quickly and you can start up just slightly. So maybe make it like 2, you know. And we actually have to have a max speed. I'll make it 10, as it was before. Make this 5. Well, let's change this a little so we can get this. So make this 12. So that's divisible by 3, I believe. Make this 4. There. Now we can. It's a little better. Maybe there's a little more variable between those. Okay. So now left and right have to be changed. Instead of just being like that, we have to say what we have to do is see, this is where we change things around a lot because this isn't actually going to be in here at all. Nope, because it's no longer speed, it's now velocity. Left and right are actually going to think quite different. Actually, in fact, we're going to have to move all this out of there. Whee! Okay. This is all going to have to go into step. X plus equals speed. And then this is for if speed is less than 0. There. Now that's all for the pressing left, and I can make the other bit for pressing right. I'll have to copy you out too. Wait. Forgot about that bit. I'll add that in a second. Boop, boop, boop. And then it also has to do this G equals on ground bit up here. Do we have vars instead of var? Var G, like before. There. Now left and right work completely differently. That's all gone. Because that's actually in the step event now. Instead, when you're pressing and holding left, you'll have to do this. Speed minus equals. Right, first we have to check something. We have to say if speed is greater than 0, speed minus equals stop speed. Or speed stop. Which was it? It was speed stop. And okay. We'll put that correctly. there, else, and in all other cases, so now, there. And then, if speed is less than negative the max speed, then speed is the max speed. It's negative the max speed, actually. There. We do the exact same thing for going right, except in the opposite direction, obviously, since we are going right. Less than, we say add, to get rid of the minus here. There you go. That should be done. Let's test it. I actually don't have anything to debug. I don't know why I clicked that. Alright. Whoa! Yeah, it doesn't really work yet, does it? I must have mussed something up. Let's see. Doop-de-doo. It doesn't. It seems like that when you're going right, you can go infinitely fast. And that's because there. Done. Fixed. Okay. The other problem is I need to make it so that if a key isn't pressed. Oh my. Well, this is why I always end up doing this. And in fact, I usually these days I would start like this. Here's the thing. I can't actually do it this way at all. Events are great, I'm sure. I'm sure if you're, you know, or if you're, you know, the sort of person who would say, not want to play around with code too much, you'd probably want to use events, and I hate them. I despise them, and I would rather never ever use them at all, ever. Even though I just showed you exactly how to do it in all of these videos, I wish that you would never do it ever, because it's dumb and doesn't work very well. Because if you do everything in code, you can get everything working in exactly the right order, with exactly the way you want, and I'm going to have to move all that stuff over here because I have to be able to test whether or not I'm actually pressing a button in order to be able to figure out whether or not I need to make it so that your speed, you know, falls off after you let go of the button. Alright, so here's what we're going to have to do. Okay. We're going to do a test. We're going to say if, and here's how you can do that. Keyboard check, checks whether or not a key is being pressed. BK, that's all the variables, that's the name that's given to all the variables for the keyboard. Left. And we can go in, we can take this, copy it, you can paste into there. Done and done. Else, if the keyboard check, okay, right, obviously. Do the same thing, except the opposite. We might as well copy it from here, so we can not have to worry about switching that all around again. Control I, push that over to the right place so it's legible. And that's a Boolean, so we can just say if. We don't have to check it against anything, because that just means if it's true. And then this all will happen. But we need one more else. And this will be neither key is being pressed. So if speed is greater than 0, we're going to do a speed minus equals speed stop. If speed is less than 0, so if it ends up being less than 0 while it's trying to stop, we can go ahead and have it stop. Else, if speed is less than 0, plus equals speed stop. If speed is greater than 0, speed equals 0. So now you should slow to a stop if you let go of the buttons. And I'm going to go ahead and, while I'm at it, tell it to not do this unless speed is not 0. So only if you're moving will it do all this bit, because that is quite a bit of stuff. for it to be doing. I think. When you're not actually, when it's not actually happening. Oh, yeah, no, that's, yeah, all of that. Yeah. There. I'm pretty sure, yeah. None of that has to happen if you're not moving, so it should be fine. Or it'll give me an error, or it'll just sort of not work for whatever reason. One of those. Boo, voodoo, 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 voodoo. Yeah. Just a little floaty. I think I need to make it move differently in the air than it does in the on the ground, but it's a little better. Feels a little like you're, starting to move rather than just sort of shooting off, which is automatically better. I think in the air it shouldn't stop it. I'll have to do a test for whether or not you're on the ground and then make it so that it doesn't slow you down unless you're pressing a key if you're in the air. I like how that works right now, for the most part anyway. If you do it just right, you can kind of land right in the middle and end up seeing it kind of slide out. But it's better than anything. It's better than it was. And actually, I quite like that. Seems pretty good. Yep, that's everything that I'm doing this episode, I guess, because I'm pretty much out of time. But, or at least I'm close as I'm going to get. Which is good, because that means I now have an episode for Friday. Yay! And we'll be able to, yeah, so I can finish off this week now. Because this has been just awful. I haven't had enough time to do these, so I'm actually doing this. This is Thursday right now, Thursday, 11 a.m., and I'm finally getting the one done for Friday. But, next time we'll make it so that we'll go ahead and, I could do it right now, but I'll save it for next time. I'll make it so that you can't do this, so you can't jump around like that, and I'll give you some control in the air, but as long as you're not, but if you're not pressing a key, I'll make it so that you keep going, because that's silly. I'll make it less floaty, so that you can't move quite so quickly either, and maybe increase the speed on this just slightly again, because, well, it's pretty good. But, yeah. There you are. Done and done. Subscribe if you like controls that don't suck. Like if you like me. No, that's not good. You don't like me, I know that. How's about this? Like if you've somehow managed to make it through 20 of these goddamn videos. That's a pretty good reason to like. Yeah, see you next time. Next week, actually. Bye.